Whenever you guys are ready.
Hello.
Welcome back to the Compel Reality Podcast.
Hey, everyone.
Now, you might be wondering, why do we have two people sitting here? And, well, it's kind of a multifaceted question. So you want to
And
handle
the thumbnail says the thumbnail says one person. That's AtomBombBody. You know, amazing guest already. And we have Demo as our new third. All right, that's pretty much the gist of it. Demo as our Demo Akudo as our third member, our secret member that we have finally unveiled.
There's the intro. That's what you get.
That's the
I
intro.
have come to take over the channel.
That's all you get. That's all you get. You better be proud of this shit.
No, but we are super stoked to have him on, and we're super stoked to have AtomBombBody with us, who is I'm forgetting your position.
Product manager.
Product manager at Live. There we go.
It's okay. I started off as the community manager, and then eventually they convinced me that I might be good at product management stuff. And so I was like, oh, okay, I guess give that a shot. Why not?
Right.
So it's changed, and who knows? It might be a different title in the future. So I've learned to not put a job title on my business cards anymore because it gets expensive.
Yeah.
I feel like recalibrate here.
Every time you gotta redo it.
Recalibrate here. Calibration's being weird.
Doing a dance moves.
Yeah.
That was happening to me, so I just gave up on my trackers, and now they're off sad and on the floor somewhere.
Sad.
Wait, how you doing all those leg frame?
Why don't you floss for us, buddy?
I think that's just...
Okay. I see.
No. Denied.
Also, you guys might notice that we have a new setup.
The world's changed.
It's more or less the same world. However, we made some modifications. I should say Papa Boney made some modifications.
Yes.
Shout out to the homie. So we got a new, actually, it might be the same table, but we have 4 seats. Same table. And then we can also modify it to have like some seats and a couch. We got some pictures back here of all of our previous guests. And then we got some posters of our favorite games on the walls. It looks pretty sick. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think we just need a Blade and Sorcery one.
I think
Blade and Sorcery. Yes. That's a good idea.
I think I mentioned that to him, but I can't remember. Can't remember if I did or not.
Look so comfy. Like I want these IRL.
I need to go
like nap and never leave.
These are like some fucking lounge chairs.
Can you imagine falling asleep on these things though? Like your back would just crinkle.
Well, and then if you're like super sweaty, you would just get stuck to them and you wouldn't be able to get out, or you'd just slip off of them. Be like a slip and slide.
Very fair. Very fair.
Yeah.
All right. So do you want to briefly explain what you do for your channel, Live, and all that stuff, just so people know for context?
Yeah, sure. So initially, I started off as just a regular old Twitch streamer that had no idea what I was doing. I wasn't into VR at first. I did a lot of just desktop stuff. So I was like, oh, let's try Overwatch. That's a big deal. Didn't try the Fortnite thing, surprisingly, but I tried every other like big popular flat screen game at the time.
Sure, yeah.
And then eventually, when Half-Life Alyx came out, I already had my original HTC Vive. It was sadly like in a box somewhere because there hadn't been much out for it at the time, and I hadn't really used it much.
Yeah.
But I was willing to bring it out for Half-Life Alyx. And then I realized like, oh, how would I stream this? I had never thought about like how is this even possible to be able to broadcast what you're seeing in a headset? Because it's like a totally different space.
Right.
And so at the time, I was trying to look up a bunch of YouTube tutorials or just tutorials anywhere. And there were some, but they weren't, like some of the information wasn't accurate. So I had to like compile a bunch of different videos together or like things online that I found.
Yeah.
So eventually I was just like, you know what, screw it. I want to make a channel where I can teach other people how to be able to like record or stream VR, whether that's, first person headset view or, with Live or reading chat in VR, like all the little things that people are like usually wanting to know, like, how do I do this when I first start out wanting to do VR content creation stuff?
Yeah.
And then long story short, eventually, as I got more into the Live stuff, I saw they were hiring a community manager, and I was like, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna try apply and see what happens, because I had kind of known some of the people on the team, and surprisingly to me, I don't know about so much them, but surprisingly to me, I got the position. And then later up, and I found out that I really liked doing user one-on-ones and just trying to figure out different product features, product development, that sort of stuff.
Sure, yeah.
And so eventually they just put me on more of a product management role, and then here I am today.
Wow,
TLDR.
and so how long was this? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, you've been killing that. I remember when I got my full body tracking set up, your videos are the ones I was watching as well. So you've been doing really well.
Oh,
I'm moving up.
I appreciate
a lot of your videos helped me out too. Like when I was like 100 subs, you know, I would watch your videos too, because some of the shit I didn't know about when I grew to my channel as well. So it really helped me out to figure out recording and then streaming and stuff like that. So
I actually
Amazing.
watched a bunch of your videos, all like a bunch of your mod videos, like your Resident Evil conversion, like flat screen to VR and all that.
My older ones.
And and then I would feel sad. Like it was a good video, but then I'd feel sad because I'm too smooth brained to figure that shit out. Even with your explanation, I'm just like, I don't know, man. I'm like, it's all. So anyway,
Well,
yeah.
like,
But no, they're great videos.
Is like all of the like technology and the software changes so fast. So I'll make a video and then I'm like, cool, this is accurate. And then a week later, they're like, we made this big update to something, and then my video is no longer relevant. And people tell me it doesn't work this way anymore. And I'm like, I know, I just posted this video. So like that's the only flip side to it, is like shit's just changing all the time, and then I always have to keep things updated because I don't want to. Like, yeah, I could leave some older ones up there, but I want to try to have the most accurate information, but it gets hard to keep up sometimes.
And then everyone in the comments is trying to use you as a customer support hotline because they can't figure out how their mods work. Yeah, I know. I know exactly what you mean.
If I can help, I don't mind, but there's some things where I'm like, I don't know, everyone's setup is different. Like maybe they're trying to run it on a laptop, and I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, like, I don't know. Yeah. It's different.
So how long did that? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say I see you've been taken up on TikTok now as well.
Yeah, you have. You've been really blowing up.
Really well now. Yeah, looking at content there.
Yeah.
I was one of the people who hated TikTok at first. I was like, it's just for like people eating Tide Pods and doing like weird dances. You know, like I don't know, it didn't appeal to me at all. But then I was like, as I started to see more like my age start to influence, like be on the platform more, I was like, okay, like we'll give it a shot. And then I actually really enjoy it because I don't stream anymore just because I don't have the time. But when I would stream, I would play the not the dumbest, because I don't want to insult any like developers, but I would play like the weirdest VR shit out there, but because it's so weird, it's not discoverable on Twitch. You know, no one's looking for obscure VR game number 3 or whatever. But on TikTok, because the algorithm's so random, it really worked there. So I was so happy I could be two halves again. I could be the educational tutorial half on YouTube, and then the like shit post, just crazy batshit whatever on TikTok. Like I feel complete now of the weird two halves of me. So it was great.
Yeah.
The American game you were playing. I forgot the name of it, but
the American Dream.
Yeah,
made by Australian developers.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the most cursed, but probably some of the most accurate shit.
It looked like it was like satirical, like weirdly dystopian kind of spin-off, which I thought was pretty cool. Yeah.
That's what I appreciate about it, because like you have to have a sense of humor about things. Like obviously,
for sure.
It's not meant to be like a serious take on America. It's just like over dramatizing everything in a hilarious way. You know, my husband gets pregnant somehow and everything guns everything. That's how I feed my baby, et cetera, et cetera. Just normal life.
Just using ammunition for everything. Using guns and shit. There's some of I find myself coming back to it because I think it's hilarious. I like your stuff on TikTok. It's funny. Especially that what was that one? Viva Project or something?
Oh yeah, with the anime girl. It's kind of like
anime shit.
Oh my god.
Do weird stuff in that game if you want it. And I'm even hesitant to call it a game. And that's why like I'll put the the game name in the description, but at the same time, I'm like, ooh, I know people are probably going to be doing not so funny things in this
not
potentially.
PG stuff.
I mean, like I said, one of the achievements is, take a picture of the girl's panties and then show her the picture. That's an achievement in the game.
That is fucking
like,
creep
so
central, bro. That is so cringe.
I'm like, oh god.
Especially because it's like, like it's literally about lollies, so it's like what
I just treat them like they're adorably stupid dogs. Like they're pets. They don't have any personalities. They're just kind of dumb and there. And
I was fucking crying when you were standing at the top of the stairs and you just picked her up and just yeeted her down the staircase. I was actually fucking crying because I was like, that would be my first instinct too, is just like kick them down the stairs and watch how they tumble or something. You know what I mean?
It sounds terrible, but you have to see what you can do in games. You have to test it to the limits. Once I realized, you can just lift them up like they're, like Simba or something. Like, well, what's the next step? Is you got to yeet it and see what happens for science.
That's my mentality for sure. Like I just feel like, what is the most cursed thing I can do with this game? That's exactly my mentality every time.
What's that?
Would you say, Demo?
I said, especially when modding gets involved, it's just like crazy.
God.
The modders struggle
so much.
I did join their Discord because the game, again, I'm still hesitant to call it like a game exactly, but it's
simulator.
Like super simulator. That's better.
Oh god.
Jesus.
Lolly Simulator 2022. Jesus Christ. What is this, fucking Epstein Island? Holy fuck.
Their Discord, I don't recommend it. It's weird. It's I would say it's safe for work, but that's kind of the central for all the people that are sort of into this thing. I mostly wanted to figure out because there were certain controls that were janky, which I wasn't surprised, but I was like, maybe someone knows how to work around it. And then I kind of regretted it, but then I stayed in the Discord just because it's kind of like fascinating to kind of just like watch or just see what goes on in it.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, no,
so
I feel that.
How long have you roughly been doing content for? I don't know if you. I don't remember.
That was actually that was gonna be my question. Yeah.
God,
like
I would say probably 2 years of fucking around, like non-VR, just me being like, yeah, mom, I'm gonna be a streamer when I grow up.
Yeah.
And then maybe another 2 to 3 years of like serious, like, okay, I have a thing now. Like I'm not just like gonna play the biggest and greatest just because everyone else is doing it. So a little bit of a while, a lot of mistakes along the way, but I mean, I wouldn't take back any of it because then I wouldn't be here and with you guys.
What would you say Liv? What would you say Liv has kind of done for you in the VR space? Because for me, and especially Soul and I, like getting this job and doing the content creation stuff. I remember I started doing this content creation 2 months ago, and my goal was in a year to do it full time. And now I'm in a position where all I do is VR, right? And I can just work with developers, work with Liv. And that's been life changing for me. It's a bit overwhelming, I think we all said. But
I would say there's some people like you that are kind of like freaks of nature that just make like you find an awesome thing right away. For some of us, we're a little slower. It takes some time. You found like you already had some skills and you learned how to apply that into something that no one else had yet. So you were able to get in real quick because you were just smart. Some of us were just kind of fucking around, pardon my language. I don't know, is it okay if I curse?
No, say whatever you want.
Literally
completely
be
uncensored.
Yourself. Do whatever the fuck you want.
We're no holds barred. We try to keep everything organic as fuck. You know what I mean?
Just making sure. But I feel like but it's well deserved. I don't want to say that like it's only purely luck because you definitely have a lot of skill, but I think you just picked the right thing at the right time, if that makes sense. And so it was perfect. It worked out perfectly. So, but congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate it. That's what I say. That's not just about the skills, it's about the market you're in and how you can take advantage of that. But I was kind of curious as to like what impact that had on your life working with Liv at the time that you were doing content creation.
I would say I wasn't as into avatars as much. I mean, I liked the idea, but something that Liv kind of enabled me to do is for my job, I actually have to talk to people. I have to, ask them about their experiences, their feedback, like things that they like and dislike about certain aspects. So I've had to talk to a lot of VTubers, and it's really enlightening to see, how much being in an avatar
Words
format.
are difficult. Yeah.
Oh, fancy. Gotta roll my R's. How important that is to people, especially having a persona in VR, because when we're in VRChat, this is how we're seeing each other. So it was really cool, and I'm like, yeah, this is definitely gonna be the fucking future. Is just it's until we get some sort of like a mixed reality live avatar in VR somehow, which I'm not even sure I really want, because I feel like that's potentially creepy. People could probably do some weird shit with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Publicly,
kind of like
I can't be Hank Hill.
That reminds me of that one movie. What was it? Bruce Willis, where they're like they take over like these like robot bodies that represent themselves, but they're not actually themselves. It just like represents them, sort of.
Is this a porno?
No. It was like it was a fucking porno, bro.
Bruce Willis?
Yeah, it had Bruce Willis in it. I cannot.
No, man. There's a lot of bald
of
people in porno.
Yeah, no, that's true.
They all
that's
look
true.
the same.
Yeah.
Johnny Sins is a good example. Johnny Sins, my boy.
Yeah.
Just like throwing them up on TikTok.
I think I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember the name of it either.
Dude, I'll think of it. The name is like on the tip of my tongue, and I know as soon as I hear it, I'm gonna be like, yes, that's the one. But yeah, I just can't think of it right now.
Do you feel like, I guess, so when did you discover VR? Was it during like the lockdown time with virus and everything?
Before then, because I remember I had the original like HTC Vive. I think got it like 2017 or so. I got it as a really expensive gift, actually, from my husband before we were married. And so at the time, it was just like, oh, like it was like having another console. Like it was interesting, but there wasn't a lot to do with it yet. So I remember doing the whole, when you're, what is that initial Valve app where you're just shooting the confetti gun, and I'm like, whoa, VR, but it's just confetti. And then I think I made the mistake of like, oh, Subnautica's got VR, but that was before it had motion controller support. So I'm just sitting at my desk getting sick because it's just like I'm diving in these caves, and I'm like, it's fine. But then there was a gap after where I just didn't. It was just, I think I moved, and then it stayed in a box, and I didn't really have a reason to take it out again until Half-Life Alyx. I know that sounds so stereotypical, because it's probably when a lot of people initially got into it more.
Sure.
But
for sure. For sure, Half-Life Alyx is a great game. What are your top three VR games, if you had to give one?
Let's make that top 5, because top 3, there's so many good, great VR games, bro.
Like, could you really actually make a top 3?
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't.
Like, I know for a fact, for me, like Into the Radius, I've stated it many times, but Into the Radius is in my top 5, but I can't categorize where in that 5 that it's in my top 5. You know what I'm saying?
No, in no particular order then. Top 5.
Top 5.
Yeah.
Okay, I would say, of course, Half-Life Alyx, in no particular order. And I'm going to actually throw another more recent one in there that might be surprising. I actually really like Kayak VR. It's not gamey, but I'm actually, I try to make time to go in there at least once a week. So kind of like more of a meditative experience for me.
I was about to say that.
Yeah. It's and I can't wait for them to have, I think it's like 2 developers, for them to have more maps in it. So I've got more to explore and just more random shit to find in the different maps.
Just need a Mongolian throat singing in the background.
Yeah, some fucking Gregorian chants, yeah.
God, I'm trying to think of the other ones, because there are a lot of good ones.
There's so many.
I'm like, what do I play now?
If it makes it better, you could probably categorize it by like genre, maybe. I don't know.
I guess I've been doing a lot of, it's not very action-y, I know, but I'm doing a lot of painting VR. And that's also kind of more, I find that most of my daily driver games are either fitnessy or kind of meditative, cathartic. Like I've got Supernatural, which I use almost every day because I'm addicted, and better than me just sitting here. And then painting VR, like I've told myself, all right, try to do at least one painting a week, and I'll follow like a YouTube video tutorial or something in there. I'm sure I have a ton more, but I'm just thinking of the ones that I'm like, these are my daily or weekly drivers, the ones that I always come back to. And then like I want to be more into vrchat and Neos. I just need like the right people and the right time. It's something that I have to be.
I felt that.
I find Neos just intimidating to get into. I just hop in and it's just menus after menus. I'm like,
the UI is kind of bad.
The UI is not user friendly in any way, shape, or form. Like it's very intimidating. Like he said, it's very intimidating, especially for somebody who isn't like familiar with the game already and the format.
Nope.
But what I found really helped was Soul and I jumped in. I don't even remember how long ago it was with Tribe and Stack and Skiva. And they just showed us the ropes and they showed us like all the cool shit
too, I think.
Yeah, all the cool shit that you can do.
That.
Dude, they're amazing. I love those people so much. But
that was my first time too.
Yeah, they just took the time to like show us the ropes, and then like once you figure it out, you're like, oh shit, like you can actually do a ton with Neos. Like it is so freaking cool.
It's crazy. And I think I spent at least 2 or 3 hours on the same map just going through inventory stuff, you know, I don't know, lightsabers and fart guns. And like, I was like, we didn't even leave. We were just in the same map and we were just playing with stuff, you know, it was crazy. I was like, oh man, I haven't even explored worlds yet.
I love the little Discord switch. That's my favorite one to fuck with people with. You just...
Oh, that's so...
On your art, like, is that something that you got into before VR with the art?
What you mean, like Neos or social apps or?
No, because you do the painting, right? You do the VR painting.
No, not at all. I actually, fun fact, before, I guess while I was doing Twitch streaming stuff, I actually was a figure model, which means I went to art classes and stuff, and you got to do the whole stereotypical, like, what is it?
Draw me like
paint
one
me
of
like
your
a
French
girl.
girls.
So I was just naked in front of everybody. So I was on the other side. I got to watch people paint, and I've seen some interesting versions of myself. Just putting it lightly. But yeah, I mean, it's something I had been interested in, but I just never had the time. And then like buying paint, like actual paint materials is fucking expensive and messy. I wasn't a cosplay before, and so I was like, oh god, like this is another expense. So being able to do it in VR is really nice because I'm like, no mess, no expense other than the like $20 or whatever for the game itself.
Sure.
So I was like, this just works for me. I don't plan on being a famous painter. It's more of just like a fun thing for me to do to chillax, you know? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So as another artist here, I mean, I draw a bit myself, but nowhere near as good as you guys.
Well, it's because I've been painting for over 7 years. I mean, I don't consider myself good, but I've been painting for 7 years. I mean, I
don't think any artist considers themselves good. Even
I genuinely don't think so.
Yeah, no.
I just follow tutorials. It's not like I'm just, making up shit in my head. I'm like following step by step someone who's going through and like, do this. And I'm like, okay, as long as someone tells me what to do, I'll be fine. If you're like, draw whatever, then I'll be like, oh shit, I don't know what to do. It's intimidating.
What was like?
Soul loves.
Sorry, go ahead. No, you're good.
Yeah, and I was just saying that Soul loves his like portraits. You draw quite like environmental stuff. I normally like to draw in just fight scenes. So being my older brother, when we were younger, literally used to draw like Dragon Ball Z comics, like fan made stuff.
Aww.
And just seeing that in VR is amazing. Even touching on what you said about how it's more cost effective, less messy. One of the things that I relate to with that is my cinematics, because when I was younger, I was always like, oh, I'd love to do this, but I don't have the money to. But in VR, with the game engines, you already have all the visual effects and all that stuff in. Like, you really need the editing skills, the cinematography skills. So it's amazing that, passions you have in real life, you can put that into VR and, in fact, create better stuff because you're not held by the limitations of
the real world.
Yeah.
That sounded like it's something very SAO-esque. I don't know why that reminded me of the limitations of the real world. You know what I mean?
I hate you.
Sorry. Fuck you. I love SAO. I will not apologize. I will die on that hill. I will die on that hill.
Like SAO, but fuck off.
But no,
God damn it.
I was gonna ask, what was like the like he kind of asked like how you got into content creation, but like what's the actual origin story of like you getting into VR itself? Like you said you bought it and you kind of played it a little bit and it was kind of a console, but like what was like the first time you recall like really remembering like being like, whoa, this is something else, you know what I mean?
I think it was a combination of just it's so hard to explain to someone who hasn't been in VR, you know, what being in VR is like. You're just like, you're just there, man. And like, okay, I don't, like, you have to put the headset on. But I think it was a combination of that and almost like when it came to the Twitch streaming and stuff, like putting together a puzzle that hadn't really been solved yet. So I got satisfaction out of like, how do I do this? And then I figured it out and I was like, yes. And then it just kind of snowballed where I was like, ooh, what else can I, you know, do to make things easier, you know, to be able to stream or record in VR or whatever, just like random stuff. So it was kind of a combination of, yes, VR is freaking awesome. I mean, like, I'm sitting on a couch and there's a laptop in front of me and I'm here. Like I'm not in my hot ass green room just staring at a wall. Like looking really weird. But also just you know, on the flip side, because it's so new, there's just so much that can go wrong. And as much as I hate it, it's almost sort of becomes like a challenge for me to try to figure out like, okay, what can I do to work with the maybe limitations of the tech as it exists now? So I guess a combination of that really just sucked me in, and so it's getting easier as time goes on, hopefully.
Yeah. Is your room literally just decked out in green?
Yes.
Yeah, it's. I've seen it. I'm looking around at it. The ceiling is green, the walls are green, and then I have new puzzle piece floor mats because these are like blue-green, which makes me sad. So I just ordered some actual like more limey green ones. But yeah, it's all green except for my
Dude, I'm so glad you did
door
that.
And closet door.
Because I've seen some people like actually like paint their carpet green or like install green carpeting. And I'm like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, why would you do that to your house? Like, there's other ways.
Step on painted carpet. It's all crunchy.
Yeah, like, nah.
Do you ever have like challenges kind of explaining to people that don't understand VR what you do? Like, what does that normally go like? Because I know for me, sometimes like I'm trying to tell people what I do, and they're like, "So what?" It's hard.
I think it's something we all struggle with.
Yeah, my parents are like boomers, right? Like they are in fact boomers, and like I tried to explain the process, especially with the new live gig, and they're like, I don't get this shit, but
add on to another layer of confusion.
Yeah. Well, and then my mother, I remember when I got the job, my mother. I told her I was quitting my day job. I have a job, and she'd be like, "What are you doing?" And like in Spanish, "What are you gonna be doing?" And I said, "I'll be working from home." He's like, pendejo, you need to go outside. Go talk to your friends. You need to not be at home. Be socialized with actual people. I'm like, bitch, come on, chill.
As a real person, I take offense to this.
Right.
Like, bro, let me just do my thing, bro. Chill.
Yeah.
No, but it is hard. Like I think for the longest time, before even the VR stuff, trying to explain streaming to my dad, like the most he could grasp was like podcasts. So I was like, okay, fine, yes, Dad, I do a podcast. Right? He'd ask like, how's your podcast going? And I'm like, it's going great, Dad. It's going great, thanks.
No, I feel that. My father, I never corrected him until recently. He would always, I said streaming, he would call it screaming.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Dad, I'm gonna be screaming
tonight.
That is
accurate.
That is such a dad thing, though.
For like 2 hours. Don't mind me. I'll just scream. And if I screamed in this apartment, I guarantee my neighbors just no. Like I'm already loud, so you know.
Yeah. They probably already hate you. Yeah, no, I have that stigma too. Like I've run into it where people literally ask me what I do before, and I'm like, well, like content creation, like, and they're like, what is that? And then I explain it to them, and they're like, oh, so you're unemployed. And I'm like, bruh. Bruh.
That's when you say, I'm an influencer.
They're like, but that's not a real job. I'm like, sure, okay. Like, there's no point in like arguing because they've made up their mind already, you know?
Yeah, there's no changing them at that point.
You go a little tail on them.
What's that?
Mom. You got a little turn. I could buy your house. My rent more than your house.
Yeah, man, it's definitely. I don't know. I think people will wake up. I think it just takes time. Like, you know, I think it's the same way with like smartphones and video games. You know what I mean?
People are gonna get punched in the fucking mouth with reality when VR comes up. Because right now, like people, I always say to this, it's like you're at the forefront of the internet before it's the internet. Like the metaverse is literally the 3D internet, and people are like, I don't care, blah blah blah. But a lot of people's jobs, a lot of their skills are going to be made redundant because a lot of AI and automation is coming over to do that stuff.
Yeah.
So you need to be in a position where you could take advantage of that and actually use that technology to aid your jobs, right, and to support you. So people like us that are kind of in the infancy of the industry right now, you know, whoever knows how many years because it's growing so fast, but we'll see a lot of dividends from that. And then the people that, you know, were kind of talking down on it and not really giving any mind to sorting out the ignorance will kind of feel that, right? So, but eventually it is literally the future. There's no way around it. You're seeing how Facebook, Apple, Steam, like all these companies are trying to capitalize off it now and develop their technologies around it, right? So
it reminds me of like when my parents, you know, when I was like a kid and your parents were like, oh, you shouldn't waste your time on video games. You're never going to be able to make money playing video games or like make a living off of video games. And I'm like, bitch, I'm what? I'm literally doing it. What do you mean?
It is kind of satisfying in a way.
Yeah, it is. It is very, very in your face. Fuck you.
It's very, very. What do they call it? Vindicating. You know, like it's, it makes you feel like you were right all along. And
it's like I'm on top of the world, bitch.
Like what you were saying though, it is true because I remember whatever it was, like 2 years ago, I was almost worried about like pivoting, and I don't know if I'm doing quotes right, but pivoting to start to do more VR content, even though I had no like genre or branding before. So in hindsight, you know, I was like, what were you so worried about? But at the same time, I remember someone had told me like, because the VR industry is so new, like now's the time to get in. Kind of like the, you know, all the streamers that were there from the Justin TV days and then stuck it out through Twitch. Now they became the like biggest streamers because they kind of, you know, just really
they got in right
Justin
at the
TV
inception.
would take off. So I still feel like we're in that time where, like, you know, if you do want to get into VR content creation, like it's still not too late. It's not, you know, completely saturated. It's not a Fortnite situation yet. You could still get in and, you know, be successful with, I don't want to say with no work because that's impossible, but with maybe a little less work than it would take in a more saturated niche. Like, I don't know.
Oh, for sure.
Like Fortnite.
Trying to start a gaming channel on a PS5 game and trying to start a gaming channel on VR, like one is probably like 10 times easier than the other. Not to say that your success is guaranteed, but just breaking into the industry is just, especially when it comes to networking, it's very hard to network in that field where you have all these big streamers and it's really hard getting into contact with a lot of them. But like in VR, it's relatively easy. If you've got a Twitter account, you can pretty much talk to anyone.
Everyone's very humble in the VR space.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the main difference, right, is that I think predominantly in the flat game, fucking words, holy shit, I'm having a stroke. In the flat screen gaming world, everything's more or less run by big shots and big wigs and corporations and shit like that, right? So that there's really not the availability for people, right? If they're a smaller streamer, a smaller content creator, they don't have, like, they literally don't have a physical possible way to get connections with these people, right? Because to them, the people who are basically controlling the whole industry, they're basically like word of mouth. They're like, if we don't know you, we're not working with you, period. Like, right? Unless you're already established, and so that's where there's a unique position in VR to your point.
Yeah, exactly, because there's a lot of people on YouTube right now that are emerging, but it's normally not in the gaming scene. It's normally from doing some kind of comedy videos or Omegle or traveling, etc. But breaking into the gaming industry and the flat screen world is just proving more and more difficult, whereas virtual reality is actually giving people a bit of an easier start to do that.
Sometimes.
Be a bit creative.
Sometimes. I mean, you still have to put the work in. You still have to have quality content, right? Like, if you make shit, like, it's not going to go anywhere. But
but there's also the point of, like, it could really depend, because, like, if you start out with VR content, and this is even common with the pancake games. If you start pushing funny moment stuff right off the bat, your discoverability is already way lower because everyone's already knows who to look for. For example, you have the Goons and you have Misfits, and then you have Josh Dub and all that stuff. So it's You have all the people that can create those funny moments content, and then you're just a small fish.
And no one's really looking for like funny, I don't know,
exactly
insert game here moments. It's not, no one's really searching for that. It's like if you come across that on YouTube and you're like, oh, hey, I like that guy because I know him and he did some funny, then you might watch it, but no one's really searching for that either. So you got to find stuff that people are actually looking for, whether that's like news related, like a new game came out, or educational, or and then once you get established, then I feel like you have a little bit more free reign to like, okay, now you can start maybe experimenting with content that, because we all have stuff that we're like, I want to make this shit, but I know no one's gonna like it.
That's self-doubt.
But then you have to kind of divide that in the beginning on like, okay, start building an audience maybe with stuff that you're like, I mean, you're still experimenting at that stage, but you may have to make stuff that's like not that you enjoy, but not the truly experimental, off the walls, crazy shit. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes
sense. Not that you shouldn't make stuff you don't like, but
for sure.
One thing I literally just noticed as well is that pretty much all of us here are wearing multiple hats when it comes to the content creation, because you have Saul that does like the deranged comedy stuff, the educational stuff, news coverage.
Deranged? Calling me deranged, bro?
Yes, you literally are.
Yes,
I mean, to be fair, we all are, but like you especially.
I am scuffed. Okay, I'll take that.
You prefer the word scuffed over deranged. Scuffed deranged comedy content. Anyway, so you
apples
got
and oranges.
So you've got the versatility of Soul's content. Same with yours, right? With the tutorials and also the comedy bits you're doing on TikTok. I'm doing the cinematic stuff, but I'm trying to breach out into doing the trailers and everything as well. And then same with Gramsy, the content that he makes, and then getting into the marketing stuff as well. So that's really what we're seeing success from, like finding our lane, but then, you know, still getting creative with it. You know, like still finding other ways to spread that out without like completely diverging off into a completely different area.
And some things like work differently for different platforms. Like, I don't think people, even though people say they would want to see a long form version let's play of like, say, the American Dream on my TikTok, I actually don't think so. I think because you're cutting out all of the boring moments that people are probably going to drop off, and instead chopping it off to maybe the funnier bits. So I'm like, people are saying that, but if you were to actually watch a full let's play of that game, you probably would jump off within the first like 5-10 minutes maybe, and the game's kind of longish.
I mean, like the average retention on like YouTube is like what, a minute 30 or 2 minutes or something. Like that's the average, right? So like,
it's probably getting worse too with TikTok now. People are just want, you know, TikTok, you gotta pull them in as quick as possible and then keep them in. But it's hard.
Give them the next one. Keep scrolling down, bitch.
Doom scrolling.
I really try to stay off as much as I can.
Off TikTok.
Yeah, like because I try to stay off like all just social media in general. I just try to keep off it as much as I can, just because I find that as I'm getting busier and busier, I'm just waking up with anxiety, bro. Because I'm just like, fuck, I've got so much to do. The first thing I'll do is like out of excitement, but not even like a habit, but just out of excitement, I'll just check Twitter, I'll check TikTok, I'll check Reddit, blah blah blah. But then I'm really trying to reel it back, because I'm just seeing that like sometimes I'll just spend way too, like, it was habitual, bro. Like I'll drink a sip of water, first one I do is grab my phone and check.
I do the same fucking thing.
Go to Twitter, I'm gonna Twitter for half an hour, just look at the Twitter shit, right? So I'm trying to like find a better balance with that, but it's difficult because it's literally our jobs. Like that's what's giving us the platform to do stuff like this, right? So finding that balance is difficult.
I still wouldn't trade it for anything though. Like it definitely, like, don't get me wrong, it has its downsides, but like being able to get paid to do what you love, like that's literally the dream. Like we're already doing it, you know what I mean? And now we're just getting paid for it. That's it. Yeah, exactly. But how do you guys find, like, is balance like a thing for you? Like everyone defines balance differently, but like for you, I don't know, what would you say? We're all
like,
fucking workaholics, man. But I'm interested to hear her response.
I mean, when I first got hired at Live, it was really hard because I was trying to balance out still maintaining my content, because I wasn't sure if like, okay, am I gonna still be streaming? But I found out like I just don't really care for streaming, so why do it? Plus I have a regular job now that's paying me more than I could on my own, so like maybe I should focus more time in that. But I had a hard time of like wanting to stay relevant, but also do the job that I'm being paid like way more for.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So I just had to get really like a lot better with time management. So I actually have like I'll plan out the next day. Like I'll plan out tomorrow, today, and I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna spend. And I do like the t-shirt sizing thing, you know, where it's like, okay, you work on a YouTube video, that's gonna be a large, which is like an hour. Post a TikTok, that would be like an extra small, because that would take maybe like, you know, a minute or less. So
Right.
I'll like chunk up my time, because if I don't do it that way, then yeah, I'll go to like, oh, I'm gonna go to Twitter because I clicked a checkbox. Good on me. Like
You're
now I
right.
need that reward.
Right.
Yeah, so I had to kind of, and I'm like, not everybody has to be as crazy as me. It's just what had to work for me, because otherwise I would just do shit that wouldn't really mean anything in the long run. I had to kind of
Right.
like focus down and be like, what
Prioritize,
what do I
optimize,
want to
yeah.
do? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right,
Yeah, that
you're
makes
right about
perfect sense. Yeah, because I mean, it's so fucking easy to just get lost in a fucking internet coma. You're like, oh, I need to do this thing real quick, and then like you're typing and something catches your eye, and you're like, ah, fuck, I'll just check this real quick, and then an hour later, you're like, fuck, I just wasted an hour doing
Yeah.
Where am
nothing.
I?
Yeah, like, yeah, like,
What have I done? Fuck.
you could be doing. So that's why, like, I think having some kind of calendar or like schedule is so important, or else you just get lost. You're just like,
Yeah,
okay, I'm doing one thing, and then you end up doing like 5 things at the same time.
yeah. Do you ever get that feeling? I'm curious if you feel this way too, because like we talk all the freaking time now, and like with everything that we all have going on, we've been, especially like how you mentioned, like it's really the infancy of VR right now, and like, do you ever get this feeling that we're kind of like, and this is going to sound cringy as fuck, that we're kind of like the trailblazers of the VR industry at times, where you're like, you know, there's this new unknown world that like no one wants to explore, and we're like, fuck you guys, we're going to go check this shit out. You know what I mean? Like, because it's really uncertain, like just dropping your day job or quitting your career and then being like, I want to work in VR full time, even though nobody really has work in that field. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it takes a certain type of person too, like you said, to just kind of drop everything and work in an industry that like is still very new. So especially, you know, working for a startup, it can be, this is going to sound kind of depressing, but at any given moment, I'm prepared. Like, you know, worst case scenario, Liv's like, you know what, we're out of money, we didn't make it. I'm going to have to be prepared to move on to something else.
Right.
Ideally, it's still in VR, but
Sure.
I'm always trying to keep track of my milestones and things that I did, so I can at least keep a resume on the back end.
Yeah.
And it's not just VR, but I guess, again, with any startup, it's risky because they're still trying to explore the space, figure out where, you know, a good market fit is.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, like, I'm probably biased, and I think Liv is doing okay, but I'm always making sure in the back of my mind that I'm like, okay, worst case scenario, what could you do after? Like, where would be the next step if, you know, shit hits the fan?
Yeah, kind of have at
Yeah,
least
of
an
course.
idea of a contingency plan.
That is totally because I think about that as well. I'm thinking, okay, I literally was just working a job. I was making like 60K a year. It was like comfortable, 9 to 5. I was doing like sales and stuff. And then obviously Liv came to me with an offer. And then I was like, hey, you know, this is great, but I still need to just make sure that I'm set. I still need to work on my YouTube, still need to work on my TikTok, still need to do like my trailer editing stuff, just in case, worst case scenario, everything is still kind of rolling and I can still do what I love, because the most depressing thing would literally just be to walk backwards, you know?
No, but
Yeah.
I will say too, it's on the trade-off is that it's so much more fulfilling. You know, like you could be, no offense to anyone who works at McDonald's, but like you could be doing something miserable, like God forbid customer service at any, I don't know, like department store. So like, yes, it's like startups and VR are kind of like a unexplored new territory, but I find that my energy levels are much higher and that I actually do want to contribute more to it to see it grow.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, it's just, I guess it's just a trade-off. Like I'm a lot more inspired, but it's kind of a rockier potential job security than, I don't know, if I were just working in a desktop flat screen pancake something or other. I don't know.
Yeah, sitting in a cubicle, pushing pencils, typing, inputting data. Yeah.
That's exactly what running a business is: a higher risk, higher reward, but then also motivates you to work even harder because you know it's higher risk, and then over time, it actually becomes more secure because you have so many things going on. It's like, hey, okay, cool. Even if one of these things fall over, at least I know I'm still good, right?
Yeah, because that's
Yeah.
that's definitely what drives me. Because like for me, it's fight or flight, right? It's like if I fail, well, then how do I fucking pay my bills? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like fortunately, I'm in a situation where it's not like, you know, like it's not like super detrimental. Like
straits.
yeah. But like, you know, if that were the case, like what do? Your back's against a wall, right? That's definitely motivating in a lot of ways. But you know, I feel like I've said this to you before. I feel like I've never worked as hard in my life for as little money as I'm making right now, and yet I am the happiest I have ever been by far, with hands down, without a doubt. So yeah,
I feel
For
it.
sure.
I'm kind of in the same sense. You know, I could have been comfortable doing fuck all else, but I would rather be in the VR industry, doing something that I love. I love making videos. I love doing content and shit.
sure.
And the live opportunity definitely like encourages that. So I'm definitely glad to be in the VR industry, and so much shit has just happened lately. So it's definitely a one up. So I'm fucking proud. I'm proud of the amount of effort I had to put in just to get here.
You should
honestly,
be. You should be.
Like,
You worked your ass off, bro.
it is these stupid how much effort there's in there, man.
Yeah,
It's crazy. It's worth it. I'm actually luckily I'm making more than I did now. I'm going to be like with things that are in the pipeline and like the freelance stuff and the contract stuff. So it's just and this is like I'm just so grateful, you know. Like I'm literally like I'm always smiling. I'm always happy, no matter how stressed I am. Like, because I'm just walking around like fucking 7 a.m. looking at the sea like fuck, I've got so much shit to do. But I wouldn't change it for the world, right? And it's really good to like meet people like you guys. Like obviously, Atom, we met quite recently on a vrchat event, and just the fact that you can even just connect with people like on this level is just something I would have never comprehended a few years ago. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Got
what kind of
two questions for you after demos? I got 2 questions for you after demos.
No, I was literally gonna say, so like, have you got like is like a specific goal for you in mind with like the VR stuff? Is there somewhere that you're kind of looking at, like to make
That's a deep question.
She said,
I don't want to think about this shit. Why are you doing this?
She's like, you're stressing me out, homie.
I mean, it's always like since I started kind of getting into the whole VR content creation thing, I've always wanted to be able to help other creators. So I think that would be my angle to help, have VR become more mainstream. Is if there's more. It kind of like, Among Us, like a shit ton of big famous people, streamers or whatever, started playing this little indie game, and then it took off. So I kind of hope that if there's more VR content creators, or even existing desktop flat screen pancake people that want to get into maybe trying to stream and record content, like the more people I think that are kind of marketing VR, then the better it'll be for VR in general. So I think that's my angle. Is I really love creators and I love working with them and helping them and doing it myself. So I think that's going to be my a permanent angle or North Star, I guess, if you want to call it.
That's quite easy to tell about you because just everything that you're doing, especially the work you're doing with it, is always about giving some kind of value to supporters and helping them out in some way or connecting streamers to.
I mean, Live itself is literally a content creation tool. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
I feel like we're taking over more people, though. If you weren't already taken, like, watch out, you'd be next. Just kidding. We've got some role for you. I don't know.
Hey, yo, what?
Picking up everybody.
Mine.
So what was your questions you want to ask?
So one is just fairly random. Why the name AtomBombBody?
Okay, at least that's an easy one. No, self-reflection really required.
Nothing.
She's like, I practiced that one in my mirror today.
I originally picked the name because I really loved Fallout, and there was the song "AtomBombBaby" in it. But I didn't want and I love just post-apocalyptic things in general, but I didn't want baby in my name. That sounded weird. And at the time, I was competing in bodybuilding. I did the least muscular division, which is called like bikini for women's. And so I was like, screw it. I'll just swap out the baby for body. And then it just kind of stuck. So I'll be like this post-apocalyptic buff lady, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say I really dig like your whole channel, your whole like avatar, like everything you do is like thematic. You know what I mean? It's like all in this like rockabilly post-apocalyptic kind of like, you know, style, and I totally dig it. I think it's really, really, really cool. I was curious about whether it was like Fallout inspired or not, so I'm glad you answered that.
But thank you, I appreciate that. Although I'm wearing like casual avatar today, just because my other one was in like a skirt with leggings, but it just looked weird. It's like you're gonna get upskirt avatar shots all the time.
That is definitely a good point.
But you gotta pay for that. Like,
yeah.
shows. So this one has pants. We're good.
You could always be like a deep fried meme of an avatar. I mean,
yeah,
you could literally be like a walking Kermit or a fucking floodling. Like
yeah.
That's true. One of the benefits, I guess.
What's competing in bodybuilding like? Because that shit looks hard. You know,
it was intense, and I think, because like especially the week of. It's really balancing like your carbs with your sodium levels, with your water intake. So there's a lot of like science that goes behind it. And I think I wanted to do it just because I was, I think, like 21 when I did my first show. And then I did 2 more after that. But I think I mostly wanted to do it because there were so many things in life that I said I would do and then never fucking did. So I was like, I should commit to something and actually see it through the end this time. And like, so what you see on stage is definitely not a like obtainable look. That is literally only, if you looked like that all the time, you would die because you're dehydrated and starving and etc.
Right.
But like competing in general, it like
sorry. Oh my god.
It
what was the lowest body fat percentage you got to?
I think I was at like 11 or 12, which I could have still gone lower, but
I can just see Saul just shaking his head.
Bro.
I see his amateur just like. Anyway.
I'm sorry. I was just saying.
Yeah, anyway.
Grease, by the way.
Sorry.
Grease. Grease.
That's what editing's for, right? No, I'm just kidding.
Fuck it. Keep it in.
Yeah, I was asking just because obviously I do the MMA stuff as well, so I know what like the cuts and stuff are like. So that's why I was wondering like what was like the lowest body fat percentage you got to? How difficult was that doing? Because bodybuilding,
like, I think
it's quite similar to fight cutting. It's just fucking draining.
Yeah, I think for me, like I said, I got between 11 and 12%, but that's also as a woman. Like as a dude, you can go definitely way below 10. I don't want to say without much issue, but it's not uncommon, you know. And I think I still could have been slimmer, but like that's the flip side of competing, is it kind of fucked with me mentally, and that now whenever I look at myself, even if to normal people it's like, oh good, she looks fit, she looks healthy, but to me I don't look like I used to, so it's always kind of fucks me up. But at the same time, it also taught me discipline and like, you know, seeing something through to the end. So I don't regret that I competed, but there are definitely some downsides that I'm like, damn it, now my like self-image is just always
completely
just
distorted.
Fucked. And that's just something that I'll work on over time, hopefully. Hopefully it'll get better. I mean, it's been several years, but never too late, I guess. Not for bodybuilding. Now I just do it to like, I think out of fear of, I don't want to get, you know, I don't want to have a heaviest weight. So it's mostly now just to stay healthy. So I joke sometimes though, like, you know what, if I do compete again, obviously be for fun, not to like be professional or anything, but I want to say I would compete again just to say, you know what, I got all my cardio from VR. Like I'd have to lift and shit. I would try to see if I could do it. All my cardio was from VR.
I'm buying up for another fight. I literally do 12 rounds for another fight like every other night. It's just, you can get some really good workouts from VR.
I've said this before, but like so when I quit my day job to like start doing content creation full time, I basically went from burning like 6,000 calories a day, so I could literally eat whatever the fuck I wanted whenever the fuck I wanted, to not burning any. So for reference, I was like 170 when I quit my job. And then over the period of like 6 months, I gained like 60 pounds basically. So I was at like, I think 235 or like 240 at my peak. And now I'm back down to like 195 because I literally just, first of all, it's actually weight gain, everyone, super easy. Don't eat like an asshole and exercise at least for half an hour a day. It's actually that easy. Yeah, I just basically played Beat Saber for like half an hour to an hour, like every day / every other day, and just didn't eat like a linebacker anymore. You know, that was literally it.
True.
Yeah.
Because I haven't been just because the schedule's been crazy. I'm trying to. I haven't been MMA training like almost a month, but still literally strength still the same, still in shape, and that's literally just been from keeping the diet the same and just doing like some Thrill of the Fight every now and again, you know.
Yeah.
And so
That's so cool though. Fun fact, one of the other random ass jobs I had is like I did a couple of like ring girl, card girl for MMA fights.
Yeah.
So I'd be the one out round 2.
Dude, that's awesome though. That's sick.
Wait, what?
I did some random shit, man.
What's that?
They were just like small, grungy, like kind of ghetto-y gyms in the middle of nowhere. Like it wasn't.
It was like backyard wrestling.
It felt like that. I was like,
get me an invite right now.
Backyard wrestling in Compton.
You know what? I live in LA, and I'm not gonna lie. Some of them were outskirts of Compton-y, kind of. So it's like, but I can add that onto my like list of just weird shit I've done in my life. It makes for a great story, I guess, or whatever. And I'm alive, so that's good too.
Yeah, that is definitely.
I mean, you were just a ringer, right? You weren't competing.
Nah, I didn't compete. I liked being like, but the benefits is I got to be up front and just watch them like beat the shit out of each other, and sometimes there'd be blood and that'd be exciting. But I feel bad, like I don't want, you know.
Hey yo, AtomBombBody psychopath confirmed. Let's go.
You go do some cult later torture, bro.
Sociopaths and sociopaths be like, damn, son.
No, but it's brutal. And I did work at
it's really
an
hardcore.
MMA gym for a little while, but I didn't do the MMA stuff. Like I participated in some classes. My role there was more on like the fitness training for the fighters, but I didn't actually do it myself. But it's so brutal, and it's so interesting too. Though I learned that you can't see because I'm not wearing trackers, but that groin trick where you basically like you put your ass up to a dude's pelvis and you can like flip them.
Yeah.
Oh
that
yeah,
was a
yeah.
kind of weird
like
move,
kind of like
but I was
inverse
like,
flip them. Yeah, like upside down.
Yeah, but you got to get your ass like real right up in that groin, you know.
Yeah, you just gotta like death by snoo them. Yeah.
I just do that, and I don't bother with the flip.
Huh?
I just do the first move and then I don't bother with the flip. I just get the groin in and then just stay there. And then they're just looking at me like, "You're gonna flip me or not?" I'm like, "No." I'm just
Thinking about it. Yeah.
Yeah, thinking about it.
I'm gonna look you in the eye first. We're gonna have a connection. We're gonna have a moment.
Right.
I'm like, "What's up? What's up, girl?"
Oh, not me, just getting a sniff.
Just taking a little whiff, trying to get a litmus test for your personal hygiene here. No, but so that's kind of interesting. So it seems like you've had like a lot of different hats you've worn in the past. Is that is that what you did?
Want to know something? Yes, because I did like modeling for a little while. Because when I was doing the bodybuilding, I was like, well, fuck it, I have something kind of unique that I can bring to the table.
Yeah,
and like Instagram was big at the time. Yeah. So I've been a sushi, not sushi model, but like those sushi girls that lay down and people eat sushi off of them. I did that once.
Oh my god!
That was interesting.
What the fuck? Okay.
Hey yo.
All right. Okay.
I've done mock dates, not what'd you call it?
Mock dates.
Fuck, I can't think of the name, but this was like a legit mock date company where there was like all these socially awkward dudes. They would go to like courses and stuff, and then they would hire a group of like actresses, and we'd go as a group to different locations so they could kind of test out what they've learned. And the guys would be like mic'd up, and so if they said something really stupid, one of the trainers would like pull them on the side and be like, "Yeah, that was so stupid. Don't say shit like that."
Oh.
And then at the end of each date, we'd get to like there was an app that we'd get to rate them. But to me, I felt it was actually pretty good because well, what happened? They used to just take them out to bars and be like, "Okay, go try what you've learned." But then girls not knowing they were trying to learn would like throw drinks in their face, and then the dudes would never get to know what they ever did wrong. Then it would never get that feedback.
Yeah.
So even though it was kind of cringy, like some of these dudes were mega awkward, but that's what they were there to learn to
Bro,
not be
you
so
can't see my
awkward.
face right now, but my jaw is literally on the fucking floor.
I never knew this existed. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
I didn't even know this was a thing, dude. Like, what?
There's everything
mean,
in LA, man. I'll tell you.
All things considered, that's actually kind of wholesome, like in a way. Yeah,
It
like
was.
like teaching like awkward dudes just how to like be
Other
social a
than
little bit, but like also
One dude kind of making weird, like racist, like ableist jokes that he
Oh
probably
my God.
shouldn't have. There was it was sweet. They were some of them. It was almost like, why are you here? But I guess
What's the worst one you had? The worst one.
there was a guy who
like just like nightmare fuel.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know
0
about
out of
nightmare
10.
fuel.
I was like, yeah, how the fuck is, I mean, somebody could get nightmare fuelish, but I don't know if
Yeah.
I don't know why they would do that in front of somebody.
There wasn't like nightmare fuel, but there was one guy who it just was not working with. Like he did the whole thing where he pulled out his phone, and at first I thought he was being rude, and I'm like, hey, isn't this like 101? Don't look at your phone while you're on a date with someone.
Sure,
but
yeah.
later I found out it was because he was like, they must have sent them some sort of like icebreaker questions or something. So he was starting to like read the questions off his phone, and I was like, oh, this is really awkward.
Not
So it was
already
mostly
off to a bad
awkward,
start,
cringy
yeah.
moments more so than like I never
Yeah.
felt unsafe. It was just like,
Sure, yeah.
I'm gonna write this note about you later. Just you wait.
Guys, my fucking battery is actually like. Can I do this on the PC? Do I have to be in VR?
No.
How far are we in? Real quick.
Oh yeah, what is our timing here? I don't know.
About an
I don't
hour.
even.
I'm at
is.
an hour 8 on my end.
Oh, holy shit, for real? Dude,
Yeah.
these fucking, I swear to God, these podcasts are like a blink of an eye, man. Like, you start talking to somebody and you just lose track of time.
That's why you
I'm
need the
also
Bobo
super fucking
MB2.
chatty.
Yeah, bro, my Oculus battery is dog trash.
You
Yeah,
don't have a head
well-
strap yet?
Huh?
You don't
Yeah,
have
I think
like
he's
a-
using the elite. I think he's using the elite strap, right? Elite strap.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oculus
oh.
One plugged in right now though. So not-
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, well, we'll end the podcast here soon.
Yeah,
I
we
just
can-
I wanted to end it on a Compel reality related question. So
Stop record. Bye.
So the hosts, the events I've hosted in the past, right? You obviously took part in one. I lost the fucking footage for that. Fucking sad. Anyway,
Rip. Rip,
yeah,
homie.
yeah, I've lost 3 hours of footage. Big gay. But would you be interested in joining a Compel Reality host as a whole, all three of us, event? Because we have several planned in the future. We're just working out kinks first. Would you be interested in joining any of those?
Absolutely. Can always shoot me a message, and I love being able to do more. Like, it's good for me to also be in social events. It's weird to say, like, I need to get outside more. This is kind of like, I mean,
Your way of
like,
getting outside.
not literally, but
Yeah.
it's putting myself in situations socially with people. Like, being a podcast guest is different, but just being in a room with a bunch of people talking and like, where do I go? Who do I talk to?
Yeah.
Like, that shit's good for me.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely have some stuff planned. We've definitely jotted some stuff down, so we're pretty close to setting something up, I think. But,
Yeah, we're working on it.
We're trying
It's just-
to.
Every
get
single
used
one of
to
us
our
is like
lives
going
right now.
through.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all going through some like weird transitional periods. Like
Yeah.
these two started at Live. Like I just started my company, so like all these different things are happening simultaneously. And
at the same time.
Of
yeah,
course.
yeah. So we're just trying to get like our boots nice and planted, and then we're gonna start moving ahead with some
Yeah.
cool shit with Compel Reality. But
Yeah.
yeah,
We'll definitely put you on the list.
yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Grams and I are going to be working closer together. I could use this opportunity to say that I've actually started my studio, so I've called it Grimwolf. And then I want to be making cinematics and trailers for other game companies or like social media content. Going to be working closely with Grams over here as well. So that'll be good. Good stuff.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
That's gonna be so exciting.
Good thinking of
we're
names.
I mean,
like it. Grimwolf.
It's really important, it's all part of marketing, because like you have we've probably seen it, maybe a game on Steam has a really shit trailer and you're like, this is how they treat their trailer, like let alone what's the game gonna be like.
Bro.
Yeah.
So It's
I don't
really
want to like
important.
shit talk, but like there's a lot of games on Steam that have really shit trailers. And it's really sad because like a lot of them look great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it's not just as much how you cook the food as it is how you present it, right? Like a pile of shit, it doesn't matter how good it tastes, people eat with their eyes first, right? So they're definitely judging it from that perspective. So I think it's like one of the most underrated parts of like the VR game developers right now, right? And like in my opinion, I mean, I'm not a developer, so I don't know, but like in my opinion, developing the game, actually making it, putting in the time, the sweat, the money, right? Because it takes years and years and like literally millions of dollars to fully develop a game. That's the fucking hard part, man. You know what I mean? Just telling people that it's there and making it look good is like easy in my opinion.
If you have bad video content, no one's gonna buy your game. That's literally how we buy games. We buy games off showcases from E3 or Gamescom, etc. What the trailer looks like. Oh, this trailer looks dope. Even a bad game with a really good trailer will make people buy it. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
Cyberpunk.
Look at Cyberpunk, Battlefield 2042. Yeah, like Electronic Arts spent almost $1 billion just in the last fiscal year. $1 billion fucking dollars on marketing alone. Just marketing. Nothing else. Like that's insane.
Jesus.
So yeah, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, for sure.
And you could definitely like I think I stated it with the Ruck Up episode, but like Benjo, like he stated on a tweet that if content creators don't review games, then there's no shot their games are going to get more recognition than they deserve.
True.
So
yeah,
definitely gotta push that boundary too for content creators. Review your games.
Yeah, review them. Yeah, actually do it. Do the things.
Or gameplay and first impressions.
What is going on with my controller right now? It is like not working. It's
I
like
love the spaz hands. You can tell when someone's struggling when you just see the like things are happening.
Did your controllers just die?
Take me.
Should we end it then?
We probably should. I hate it because like I want to fucking keep talking, but you know what that means? It means we have to have you back on a second time.
Yes, exactly.
I guess so.
Yeah.
we would love to have you back on. I would.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
I think next time I think next time I'd like to ask some more stuff about Live and like what they're doing and maybe some stuff. If you can talk about it, I don't want to like, get you in trouble with your bosses or whatever. But I'd love to know more about.
We're actually talking about getting probably Doom on here now.
What's that?
Great. Possibly getting Doom on here now. That'd be good.
I would like to have Doom on. I would love to talk to Doom. Yeah, that would be great.
Talk to him.
Yeah, we can definitely DM him later for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
I would.
Yeah, that'd be
okay.
Sweet.
You have anything you want to shout out before we end it? Any just socials at all?
Yes, you can find me on Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. I think that's the 3 platforms that I'm mostly on now. At AtomBombBody. If you want dumb meme shit, that's TikTok. If you want more educational, wholesome, I put that in air quotes, but it probably not working very well. That'd be YouTube. And then Twitter is just for like everything. That's where like my water cooler basically is. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys having me on. It's super fun and we'll have to chat more.
Yeah. And it's Atom, like nuclear atom.
Atom, yes. Atom.
ATOM, yes. Like
Atom.
Yeah. No, thanks so much for coming on. Like honestly, this has been such a great conversation. I'm sad that we gotta end it. Fuck you, demo. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, bro. It's okay. We just gotta get you. We just gotta get you some batteries and some. No, but thank you so much for taking the time to come on. This has been awesome. Yeah,
absolutely. That's fun.
So.
All right, bye guys. No, I'm kidding. I know. I just wanted to piss you off.
I will find you in Elden Ring. Okay.
All right.
I know where you live.
Yeah, basically. I know you do. I know you do.
All right. So if you're on YouTube, comment down below if you had any interesting topics or discussion with Adam or as Compel Reality as a whole. Make sure you like as well. It helps us. Same thing. Any engagement helps. Hit the big red button. Why, if you're watching, why ain't you hit the fucking button? Hit the goddamn son of a bitchin' button, please.
Punch it. Yeah.
Yeah, do what he's doing.
Smash that like button.
Yeah. Even though we're doing the cringy content creator thing right now.
Smash that like button. You better hit that big red button. You know what I'm saying?
Guys, Call of Duty player 42069 here. Smash that like button. Hit the subscribe.
Oh god. No, don't say that. Now I'm gonna get Twitter advertisements for Raid Legends again. This happened last time. We were making a joke about it somewhere, and then I started getting ads for it again.
Raid Shadow Legends.
No.
If you're on Spotify, hit the download buttons. It helps us on Spotify. Rate us as well on Spotify and iTunes or Google Podcast, wherever we are. Rate us. Do whatever you got to do.
Yeah, do the thing, do the stuff, and hit the downloads
all the things.
And make sure you follow AtomBombBody everywhere that you just mentioned.
Do it. Why haven't you done it already?
Exactly.
I'm pretty okay, I guess.
Oh, you're awesome. You're not. Yeah. Okay, you're awesome.
She's a superstar.
You're an amazing human being.
She's a superstar. Absolute fucking legend right here. That's pretty much it. Anybody else got any closing statements, questions, concerns, comments?
I don't think so.
Make sure to get some D. You know,
yeah,
vitamin D,
get that vitamin D. That's what I'm talking about, right? Yeah, my homie right here.
That's what I'm fucking saying, dog.
As soon as I said VVS time, I go bling. I just crashed.
You motherfucker read my mind.
Look, he's just legit just frozen in time. There's just a snapshot in time right here. Can you all see that? Holy crap.
I need to charge
He's still breathing though, so that's good. And blinking.
Yeah.
I need to come back for the picture. Let me charge this a bit.
Yeah. All right.
All right, we'll wrap it up here. Thank you so much for joining us. Goodbye.
Bye.
Let me stop recording. Holy shit.
I don't wait to know what.
Perpetually staring.